Seat there. You don't have to wear the headphones if you...
No, I like it. Feels official.
All good?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest has had roles on One Tree Hill, every season of American Horror Story, and the Men movies, but you may know him best as Seth from Phil of the Future. Let's say hello to Evan Peters. Evan, how are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good. Not really recognized for that role, are you?
No. Thank you for bringing that up. That's very sweet of you.
I could go with the one-offs, because I remember you on House.
Oh, it's all right. Great. Great. We got a real fan here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll try not to creep you out.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So much to get to and not much time. Let's start off with the big thing, of course, X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Open right now in theaters. You got to go and see it. It's a movie. Let's start off about where is, because you play Peter Quicksilver in the movie, from where we were with the last movie to where you are now.
Well, not much has changed. It's 10 years later, and he's still living in his mom's basement. He's a little bit less of a klepto, and he has sort of gotten into music now a little bit, from the beautiful set decoration that they've done. He's kind of stuck, He's a little depressed. He's not really doing much with his powers or anything like that. So he sees on TV his father, Magneto, who doesn't know that Quicksilver is his son.
That's not a spoiler for anybody. If you saw the last movie or read the comics, you know he's Magneto's son.
Yeah, exactly.
If it is, don't know what to
It's
tell
in the preview as well.
Yes.
So, he's trying to get out there and maybe sort of establish a connection with his estranged father and to sort of help Eric to come to the light side. He's gone a little dark because of external circumstances.
His father walks the line, but for the most part, he... as being Magneto, he has walked in the dark side of it.
Absolutely. That's the whole Magneto thing, is he's very dark, But inside, he just wants to do the right thing. That's best for mutants and maybe not humanity, but mostly mutants.
Good intentions, but feels he has to go about it with the most evil and the most brutal circumstances.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Magneto's always been my favorite.
Yeah?
Whenever somebody's out of any... or a comic book, what have you, when they said you could be anybody or who is your favorite, it was always Magneto.
Me too.
And it wasn't that he had the most powers or even the best powers, just being able to grab anything metal, move it, crush it, throw it away, whatever. Whenever I'm in traffic, and I always think, I'm like,
yes.
God damn it, if I had a car, flung, just throw it right into the river.
100%, yes. I would use it in traffic all the time. I wouldn't even care about the standard in the car. I would just fling the car out of the way.
You would know where I was heading by the wave of cars being flung all over the place there.
Yeah, exactly.
And quite a shadow to grow up in, being Magneto's kid. Because you're trying to establish a connection with him, but you're also trying to define yourself and try to say, look, I'm my own person. I want to be with my dad, but I don't need my dad to be me.
Exactly. I think he just wants to go have a beer with him. I think that's what he really wants. And to me, where I would like to see the relationship go is into an area of what the original comics had, where he was sort of the sidekick of Magneto and doing his evil bidding and all that stuff. So I think it would be cool to have Quicksilver go a little dark if there is a next film and have him be sort of, I don't know. Because that was the whole thing about Quicksilver, is that he was on Magneto's team, but he was still a little bit good. I mean, he eventually becomes good in the comics, so... it's an interesting character. There's a lot of change there, a lot of conflict.
I like what you just said, if there is a next movie. Because I'm sure there will be a next movie, but that also implies that this Quicksilver isn't dead.
Right. He does not die in this one.
We need one universe where Quicksilver is alive.
Yeah, I know.
He's dead in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but as far as the X-Men universe, he's alive and well.
Pretty mutilated, actually, in the Marvel. It's like a slow-motion machine gun ripping through him.
And nobody really bothered to help him. It's just like...
a lot of superpowers around him. Nobody
it's
helped.
like, I got other shit to deal with. Sorry, kid.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on, yeah. Good luck.
And Scarlet Witch is your sister.
Yeah.
In the comics, in that universe, in this universe here. Tell us more about Apocalypse. What are we looking at here as far as... Apocalypse is the first mutant in the history of the planet.
Yes, and the most powerful. Because he can take other mutants' powers, so he's accumulated powers over the years.
It's so weird to be that powerful, to be the first, because just like any kind of technology, the first one is not the one you want. You want like at least third or fourth down the line so they get the bugs out of it.
Fourth generation.
So you think if they make the first one, okay, there's some defects there. Maybe if we continue this process by the fourth or fifth one, we've nailed it.
Yes.
And he's right off the assembly line.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, though, is that every time his body is going to die, he upgrades to a new version. So if you really look at it, he's thousands of years old.
He's a virus.
Yes, exactly. he's a living, learning, breathing virus. He's badass, man. He can disintegrate matter. He can... he can pretty much do anything. He's pretty amazing. He and played by Oscar Isaac.
We had him on the show for Ex Machina.
Oh, wow.
And this is long before all the Star Wars hype and everything.
Right.
And,
you've changed, Oscar.
Him and Domhnall Gleeson came in, and we were just trying to pick a little bit. I'm like, who are you? Come on, you got to tell us something. What kind of outfit are you wearing? And they kept their mouth shut. But it was great to meet them, and we talked a little bit. I guess it was just announced he was going to be Apocalypse at that time.
Oh, nice.
So, great guy.
Really great guy.
He used to be in a ska band.
Did he really?
Yeah, down in Florida.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm forgetting the name off the top of my head.
Oh, shit.
But,
I wish I knew that.
I found his music and stuff, and when he came in, we played it, and he just shook his head, and he's like, yeah.
Oh, my God. You got to let me know the name of that.
Talk a little bit more about the movie. I'll tell you the band name in 1 second.
All right.
So are we seeing more of a bridge of going back into, I don't want to say the current timeline, but back into the Patrick Stewart era?
It's Bryan Singer called it an in-betweequel because it ends...
That's a great term to coin.
Yeah.
Hope he trademarked it.
Yeah, I hope so too.
If not, it's mine.
Yes. It basically ends, it's the third installment of the I hesitate to call it a reboot, but essentially that's what it was. But of the prequels, it ends the third one and sort of at the same time begins the original three. So it's like a loop back around into the original three because it establishes the characters of Jean Grey and Scott, Nightcrawler, all those guys who we love, so it sort of does their origins, all the while sort of wrapping up some issues and things with, the guys that we were established with in First Class.
Blinking Underdogs is the name of the band.
Blinking Underdogs.
So make sure you look that up and then send them a text and hey, found your band. You'll find them on YouTube.
Okay. Blinking Underdogs.
Somebody had some I guess they put out a tape or something, and there's a couple of songs online.
That's amazing.
So you can find stuff from his days in Florida. What did you think of the Deadpool joke in reference to all the X-Men stuff?
I loved it, man. I like getting ripped on like that, and I think it'd be cool to do a little Deadpool collaboration.
I'm sure at some point because he was part of X-Force in the comics and in the X-Men universe. But the joke of how come it's always you two? I guess the studio couldn't afford more X-Men. And then there was the one where he was talking about would take you back to Xavier, and he goes, "Who?
McAvoy
or Stewart." Timelines mixed up, and I'm like, this is really well done.
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer. At some point, they're going to cross paths, and he's going to join that world.
I hope so, man. I'd like to see him face off against Quicksilver. I think that'd be kind of an interesting, cheeky duo.
And since he can break the fourth wall, you could just always look and go, I thought he died already,
Yeah. Go.
Definitely go out and see the X-Men Apocalypse. It's out now in movie theaters everywhere. You can't miss it. It's the big blockbuster for Memorial Day this year, which is a great spot to be in because it's that and July 4th are the two hot spots for the summer. So you got the first one and to kick off everything.
Amazing.
And if it doesn't go well, then the whole summer falls apart and they go, goddamn X-Men.
Yeah, what's coming out on the 4th, do you know?
I think ID4.
Oh, shit.
The new Independence Day, I think, comes out July 4th.
Okay, all right.
If I'm wrong, then I'm sure I'll get a million tweets at everybody. Hey, idiot, how do you not know? But I'm guessing it's the new Independence Day.
Cool.
Makes sense, right?
It does make sense, yeah, I'd see that for sure.
I don't want to go into too much more because I don't want to give away a lot of the stuff in X-Men Apocalypse. Is great. Olivia Munn working with.
I mean, she's stunning.
And
also super smart and geeky and nerdy, which makes her even hotter,
but that always gets called into credibility. A lot of people always say that she's not really geeky. And
really?
Especially during her time on G4.
Okay.
When that network was still around,
yeah.
It was always 50-50. People either loved her or hated her.
She knows everything about Psylocke. She researched the hell out of that character.
That's the way to get the roles
more
nowadays.
Than anybody else, I think. She knows more about her character.
That's the way to get everything done nowadays, because it took Ryan Reynolds a long time, but he was really into Deadpool, knew everything about Deadpool, became Deadpool, got it done. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg were into Preacher, and really loved Preacher, and for 11 years they pushed and pushed and pushed, and now it's finally out on AMC. They're the executive producers for that.
Nice.
It's really that age now where if you are into a character and you know everything about that character, you can solicit yourself and say, hey, and just keep going. So when they finally do break down, you know what? I remember such and such was really into that one character. We should hire him or her for that role.
Yes, yeah. I have to start thinking about
bone up, kids.
My beloved. Yeah,
the world's your oyster.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let me go to Lazarus Effect. Great movie. Mark Duplass in that movie with you, where you worked with Olivia Wilde.
Yes.
You did an episode of House. Was she in House at that time when you did your episode?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, we might have even worked together. I was younger and only on it for a very short time, so I can't quite recall.
And Donald Glover. It was a great movie because I would sit there and I was just like, for a while, I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, that was a long way to go, but I get it now.
Yeah. It was interesting. There's a lot of visual stuff in there that was pretty amazing. A lot of this stuff with the younger girl in the fire and going back, and a lot of interesting questions that they asked concerning life after death, which I thought was an interesting thing to talk about in the film.
Well, check that movie out if you haven't seen it. I'm running out of time here, so I want to jump real quick to American Horror Story.
Cool.
You've been in every season.
Yeah.
And the first 2 seasons were the same, mostly the same cast, but they would change roles depending on the story. And for those who don't know, each season of American Horror Story is a different story, different setting, different characters, and you've played every season. I only got into it during this season with Hotel, and you as Mr. March was amazing.
Thanks, dude.
Not a spoiler. You kill Lady Gaga, and I was just like the whole thing.
Bitch.
But you were this old timey man's man.
Yeah,
kind of did, with the mustache and talking like this back in the day, like that.
Yeah,
and just such like the embodiment of evil.
Thank you, sir.
You did an amazing job, and that series, that role. Now I'm going back for the summer. Cool. I'm going to go back through all the old seasons because it was just one of those shows I wanted to watch and just never got a chance to.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it caught my attention with Lady Gaga on the season and
you want to go to
Kathy Bates.
Yeah, Kathy Bates is amazing, man.
Right, but you did an amazing job in that. And what pissed me off is I realized I have your Funko toy for Mr. March. Funko Pop put out Mr. March, and I forgot to bring it. I bring it to every interview because I think that's the coolest thing you can get when you're doing any kind of television show, movie, whatever, that, you make millions of dollars and worldwide acclaim and what have you, but when you get a chance to have your face on a shirt or on a toy and things like that, I'm like, that is a milestone showing that you've succeeded, and that will be there for the rest of your life.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, man. That's cool.
It's great for you. I forgot to bring it, so I'm full of self-hate right now and anger. No. But next time when you're in New York, we'll talk more about that.
Yeah, I'll come back, man.
Please do, because there's so much more. I mean, you get to work with Game of Thrones. Are you a Game of Thrones fan?
I have not watched Game
because you have Sophie Turner in the movie in there, and then the previous movie had Peter Dinklage.
Yes,
as the end all bad guy who created all the Cylon kind of things that were killing all the mutants.
Yeah,
and now there's 1 or 2 more signed on for the New Mutants X-Men project that they just announced.
What? What project? What's going on?
X-Men New Mutants.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sophie's in it, and the one who plays the youngest Stark, Arya Stark. I'm trying to think of her name.
Okay.
Misha Williams?
Oh, yes.
Yes. She just signed on for that. They announced for that. So
that'll be cool. They're friends. They're good. Thattle be fun for them.
X-Men.
I know. I really want to watch Game of Thrones. Everybody is so into it, and I really want to. I want to start from the beginning. It's a long road. I got to get real sick so I can binge watch all of them.
The best subtitle I heard for Game of Thrones was Ron Bennington here, who calls it Tits and Dragons. And he goes, "What happened last night on Tits and Dragons?" And I'm like, "Yep, that's exactly what it is."
Well, now I'm even more excited to watch it.
Well, please do. Go out and watch X-Men Apocalypse. It's in theaters now. He plays Quicksilver, and your guy is Peter, your character, but it was
Pietro.
Pietro.
Yeah. He's Russian in that one, and you think in the comics he's Russian.
Right.
Pietro Maximoff.
Right. But they switched you to Peter to
a little
Americanize you.
Yeah.
It's just some
Canadian
dumbass in his basement has powers. Whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Send some love on Twitter. It's tweets on YourFace.
Yes, sir.
For your Twitter, and then you're also active on Instagram, which is Boo Boo Daddy.
That's right. That's correct.
Couldn't sync it up, make it easy for everybody.
I like to make it difficult.
All right, Evan. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you,
we'll see you next time.
Cheers, man.
Appreciate it.